Thank you so much for sharing your time with us here on SoJannelle. If you're just joining us, not to worry. If you missed the first 2 segments of this conversation, it's very fun and very enlightening. You may catch those segments and even more because we have exclusive social media only content that we drop on our social media channels. That's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Information on the screen. Still talking to Mike and Jhett of the Asian Persuasion. I get like Persuasion film, right? Let's pause there because we stopped at, including as many Asian countries as you can. At the end, there were 21 Asian countries were represented in the making of this movie, in front of the camera and behind the camera. And that's very important to me as well because this show is a show about immigration and representation, right? Jhett, you're an immigrant yourself.
Yeah.
Why did you move to the States? You were already, after college or?
Yeah, I was 25 when I got here. I was working in Hong Kong first for a Japanese finance company, JP Capital Finance. And I was moonlighting with a fashion magazine, Inside Fashion. And from there, I found connection to get here because my ultimate goal is definitely to get here. I was offered a marketing and sales job at The Good Guys.
Oh, okay, The Good Guys.
Electronics.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
First, when I got to California, I lived in Brentwood.
Okay.
And then, I would just take the bars in
Northern
San Francisco,
California, yeah.
And then I would work sometimes there on a gift shop. But when all the papers came in, I was cleared to work, I went to San Jose. The Good Guys was absorbed by Radio Shack.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So I moved east.
So meaning because of that, you got laid off?
Not necessarily, because that was to me just an introduction to,
right.
And then I realized that when you're in the United States, there are opportunities in every second that you are in this country.
Evolving, yes.
Yeah, you can evolve to whatever you want to do.
Yes.
And then growing up in the squatters in Iloilo City, I wasn't even exposed to arts.
Yes.
I wasn't.
Okay.
And my ultimate goal is just to be a flight attendant so I can get to places for free.
Right.
So before I left the Good Guys, I applied for Southwest Airlines.
Okay.
Because the Philippine Airlines will never have me. I'm 5'5". Okay, they want their men 5'8".
Okay.
But I applied with South. I got in. I was accepted. But I did not take that job because I wanted to move east because I had a mortgage job in Hamburg, New Jersey.
Which is finance related.
Yeah.
So as an immigrant, we always ask this of immigrants whom we've interviewed. What were the top 3 things that you struggled with?
It's all a mindset, right? Like whenever I get to a board meeting on Broadway talking about multi-million-dollar projects, when I go in, I'm the only Filipino there, right? Not only Filipino, but only Asian. So I always think of that, it's not about my skin. Because if I think of that, I'm introducing inferiority to myself. So I work
I like
around.
that perspective. Okay.
I work around and I said, oh, they're actually the same reason as me. Why they're here, I'm here.
Right.
We're all learning together.
Yeah.
So that's my mindset.
Okay.
Struggle-wise, in producing, it's always finding money. I did not come from money.
Yeah.
And it's selling what you have and knowing how to sell it in your sleep. And being honest about it. If a potential investor is is asking you a question that you don't know the answer, you gotta have to be honest with them and say, I'm so sorry. I don't know the answer to that, but give me some time, I'll get back to you. And make sure you do.
I love that. Okay.
Because that's when the trust.
Right.
And then that person would remember, oh, I didn't think that you would get back to me.
Yes. But you did, right? So you're building credibility. Yeah,
exactly.
your trust, you're right. So mindset, honesty and credibility.
Yeah, and the projects that you choose.
Okay,
It's
choosing
not
the
a-
right projects for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not about who's in it.
Right.
You have to make sure that, again, the commercial value is there, the critical acclaim is there, and the potential maybe could be an award winning. So you have to be able to identify these things
Right.
that would break through on why would they even bother writing you a check.
True.
Again, I got to Broadway. Nobody bankrolled me.
Yeah.
There
No
was
connections.
no.
Yes.
I always loved Jett's story because he's a self-made person.
Yes.
Like really everything that he did on his own back.
Right.
He's figured out how to do it. He's a good guy, that's why he worked at the Good Guys. Yeah, so
I know you've been wanting to say that. I know you've been.
He's the writer.
Right. He found an opening, which he made himself because he wanted to say that. All right.
So my story is a little bit different.
Okay.
So I moved here. I was born in Makati. I moved here when I was like 3 years old, and my parents moved to San Francisco. So I grew up in the Bay Area. I'm a Bay Area kid. I went to engineering school in the Bay Area, and then I went to get my MBA in business in Chicago, and moved back to the Bay. I'm really a person who, for all intents and purposes, don't really belong in the entertainment industry, but I always had a passion for it. And I always figured that if you follow your passions in life, eventually you're gonna get to where you wanna be. And it just feels like natural, like supernatural. Doing everything that you wanna do is just so natural every day. So this has felt like the most natural thing I've ever done, ever.
Producing this film.
Writing it, co-producing with Jhett, all this is like a culmination of everything that I'm really good at in life, really. So I think this is like really, I feel very fulfilled by this project. But growing up as an immigrant, it's a little different because I grew up actually having a lot of things, and my family has a lot of connections in the Philippines. So growing up, I used to always say, why is it that we have all this and then other people don't, in the Philippines especially? Because, you know, growing up here in the States, we're just like middle class and just like normal, but in the Philippines we know everybody, and it's really different. The dichotomy between the two things, it's really so drastic, the differences. And so I always said, if I ever had a moment in my life or ever had a way to give back to the Philippines and bring power back home where I can really make a difference, then I want to find the ways to do that in any way possible. So I think everything that I've done in my business life, in my creative life, in my personal life has really been to find a way to always give back and know where I came from and recognize that I came from blessings already from the start. And when you have those things, then the thing you need to do is bring other people up with you and share your blessings all the time. And I think that's really where it comes from.
Right. And you don't even have to look too far, because right here in America, we're also struggling to fight hate. Right? And this is why films like yours are actually very important, because we're putting Asians onto the forefront, onto the stage, for people to understand us and understand our culture better, because understanding promotes empathy, right? And hopefully, you know, it will be a long battle, but hopefully there will come a point where there's no more hate, or there's no more Asian hate, right? We're going to be talking a little bit more about that when we return on the show. Don't go.
I never got your name.
It's Avery. These are the final edits.
She literally wiped you clean.
It's not that bad.
What if we get someone to date? No, marry Avery.
I spilled my coffee on him, and I gave him my number. Don't you look dashing?
Avery's really amazing. Can't believe you let her go.
How is your movie contributing to the fight against hate, or at least the conversation about Asian hate?
Yeah, actually, that was a pivotal moment in March 2021 because it was the height. It was one of the things that I remember when I told Mike that I don't want it to be all about Filipino. And that's one of the major reasons that we have to include the rest of our Asian communities all across the board, because they too were going through the same thing as we were. I mean, we were just scapegoated with something that we have nothing to do with. Yeah, so that was that. So this is like, because to me, a lot of my friends were saying, Jhett, come join the protest, you know, and all that. I'm not really into that, because to me, that's just gonna be like a white noise for the news for the night, and then it's gonna go away.
Right.
But I said, you know what? This is my form of protest. You don't think I belong here? Let me show you how I belong here.
And I bring everyone.
Exactly, and hence the project.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and then so essentially what's really beautiful about the movie is that it's not about being Asian. This movie is not like an Asian story about, you know, some Asian family or whatever. You know, it is, at the core of it, has the Filipino flavor because that's the Asianness that I know, you know, and I'm the writer, so it has to come from somewhere.
From your lens,
but
right?
It's anybody's story. This could happen to anybody, white, black, you name it. It doesn't matter because it's a universal story. And growing up as an Asian American here in the States, I never really saw a lot of that growing up. In fact, I never saw a lot of Asian American people on TV, really. Like I'm so honored that, you know, Dante Basco's in my movie, Paulo Montalban's in my movie, because I always tell them both that you guys are the ones that I saw growing up. I saw Kiwi Kwan, obviously, but then there was not a lot of other like Asian kids in a movie, or Asian, you know, people, especially Filipinos too. So to have them both in my movie is so super cool to me. But part of dispelling the Asian hate thing is to actually invite people into our narrative and show the similarities and really show that we're not that different from each other. We grew up in the same place, we had the same problems. We're here in America. I mean, this is universal, really. I think it's anybody, but it's important to say we represent Asians, but we also invite our allies and invite other cultures to see us in a different light.
Yeah, and we're not just about superpowers or the model minority.
There's no kung fu. There's nothing like super artsy about our film. In fact, it's probably, you know, more on the other side, where it's just like, you know, no artifice, no anything. It's just as it is, and madcap comedy. And like really, it's not about that. And when we use you know, Tagalog in the movie at all, it's never used in a way that's meant to make fun of, or you know, do this thing. Because I mean, you know,
that's
just,
great.
It's just the way our Lola would speak to us or something like that. But not because I just want to make fun of, you know, whatever. You know, so it's very different. I think the approach is a novel approach, but it's authentic. It's really real. And that's why I'm glad that this even made it to the screen, that Jhett believed in me, that we had this thing together. And it's a fun journey. And this is like very surprising, but also it's such an honor to have it, because it means that the audience also saw what we saw. And there weren't just Asians, by the way, at this thing.
This is your validation that you're doing.
This is our validation that we can actually connect.
Right.
And that connection is what we need to move the Asian hate thing forward.
Love that. And then what's next for the movie? Where else can people catch it?
Yeah, well, because of this, again, we never anticipated that it would go this far. First of all, we're a rom-com, right? So right from the beginning, I already told Mike, we are not a European premiere. So like, that's part of the strategy. You have to manage your expectations where your project could land. Because if you set yourself too high, you're gonna be, you know,
shattered.
So now we're glad that we have this, and then a limited theatrical release in New York. So we'll just try.
Yes.
We'll just try first. If New York is successful enough, then we might be opening it up to the rest of the country, of North America.
Well, for now, congratulations once again, and we will be here waiting for your adobo. And then, really, seriously, we'll be cheering you on your journey. Next project comes up, you can count on us to amplify, because, you know, we can only do this together, right?
Yeah.
So together, our amplification will be stronger of our own stories, our own narratives. So thank you so much, and God bless you on your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your time with us here on SoJannelle. Again, we are on social media. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as well. And of course, on TV, TFC, ANC, and KNET 25.1. I'll see you all again next week, same time, same channel. I'm your host, Janelle So, and this has been SoJannelle.